Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed viewers, today we embark on a remarkable tale, a profound testament to the extraordinary bond that can exist between humanity and the untamed beauty of the natural world. Our story unfolds in the very heart of the African continent, where boundless savannas stretch toward the horizon and dense, verdant forests conceal countless secrets. At the center of this story is Ideal, a dedicated game warden, a true son of the African soil. He had devoted his entire life to protecting the magnificent creatures that share this planet with us. But Ideal was more than a protector. He was a meticulous observer, a man deeply attuned to the very breath and pulse of the forest he called home. He recognized the calls of hundreds of bird species, the tracks of countless mammals, and even the subtle shifts in wind and weather. Those quiet signals that foretold great movements in the natural realm. One particular afternoon, the skies above transformed with ominous drama. Inky clouds gathered, obscuring the once brilliant sun. A strong wind rose, carrying with it a heavy humidity and a deep earthy scent that heralded a tropical storm. Ideal, drawing on years of experience, knew this was no ordinary rainstorm. In this part of the world, a downpour could turn the calmest stream into a roaring torrent in mere minutes. When the rain finally came, it fell with overwhelming force. Sheets of water cascaded from the sky, hammering the canopy, washing away the dust, and bathing the forest in a renewed emerald hue. But with its beauty came danger. The once gentle streams began to swell, their rising waters sweeping away anything in their path. Ideal was patrolling near one of these streams, usually a place of peaceful reflection, when he heard it, the anxious growls and frightened whimpers of something very young. Driven by instinct, he moved quickly toward the sound. What he found made his heart tighten. A pride of lions, majestic adults, and their vulnerable cubs was stranded on a small knoll, now surrounded by a raging, surging stream. The rising waters had cut off every escape. The lionesses tried desperately to shield their young, but fear shimmered in their eyes. Ideal understood there was no time to lose. Though he knew the danger of approaching a panic-stricken pride, he couldn't walk away. These animals were not just part of the wild. They were part of his life's mission. Without hesitation, Ideal plunged into the freezing, churning water. The current was brutal, threatening to pull him under, but he fought forward with the resilience and determination that only years in the bush could give. Reaching the flooded knoll, Ideal approached slowly, speaking in soft tones. He knew their fear could quickly escalate the crisis. Gently, carefully, he began the rescue. One by one, he scooped up the tiny cubs, trembling, fragile, and carried them across the dangerous current to safety. The lionesses watched, wary but still. Somehow, they seemed to sense his intentions. They showed no aggression, only anxious, tracking eyes, watching his every step. Each journey across the torrent was a test of will. Ideal could feel the weight of their dependence, the delicate life in his arms. He would not let any of them slip away. When every cub was safe, Ideal turned his attention to the adult lions. The powerful males, their soaked manes hanging heavy, were now pacing restlessly. With the help of large fallen branches, Ideal guided them, step by cautious step, across the torrent. Finally, the entire pride stood safe on the bank, panting, soaked, and mud-splattered but alive. In their eyes, Ideal saw something unmistakable: gratitude. Years passed. Ideal continued his tireless work, walking the same trails, listening to the rhythms of the land. He often saw that same pride during his rounds, and over time, a quiet understanding seemed to grow between them. A bond formed not by words, but by shared history. Then came a sweltering day, heavy with heat and silence. While patrolling alone, Ideal suddenly felt a sharp pain pierce his chest. His breath faltered. Dizziness overwhelmed him. He reached for a nearby tree, but his strength failed. He collapsed onto the dusty path, motionless under the unforgiving African sun. Time slipped away. Unseen, unattended, Ideal lay there as his condition worsened. In his fading consciousness, fleeting images of the forest and the animals he had devoted his life to flickered, then faded. But not far away, the same pride of lions, those he had once rescued, was resting in the shade. The dominant male, his dark mane now fuller and wiser with age, suddenly lifted his head. Something in the air had shifted. He sniffed, ears twitching, his sharp instincts sensing something familiar, something not right. With a soft growl, he roused the pride. They moved through the bush quietly, intently, guided by scent and memory. They reached the track, and there, lying still under the sun, was Ideal. The alpha male approached cautiously, sniffed the familiar man, then nudged him gently, almost tenderly, but Ideal didn't respond. The lions stood still, their movements uncertain. Yet something stirred within them, a deep understanding. They knew he was in danger. Then the unthinkable happened. The alpha male stepped into the road and lay across it, forming a blockade. The others followed, forming a living wall. Not long after, a park patrol vehicle appeared. The driver stopped, stunned to see lions intentionally blocking his path. This behavior was anything but typical. Lions avoided humans, especially vehicles. Then the male lion rose and walked a few steps toward the truck. He turned his head back, looked directly at the driver, and repeated the motion again and again, signaling. The driver, puzzled but intrigued by the lion's deliberate actions, stepped cautiously from the vehicle and followed. The lion led him directly to Ideal. The driver's eyes widened in shock. There, lying unconscious, was the beloved warden. Instantly, he radioed for help. As they waited for rescue, the pride remained calm, watchful, protective. They did not growl. They did not flee. They simply stood guard, honoring the man who had once risked everything for them. Help arrived swiftly. Paramedics stabilized Ideal and rushed him to the hospital. Doctors diagnosed a severe stroke. Had he been found any later, the outcome might have been fatal, but he was found because of the lions. Word of this astonishing event spread quickly. A wild pride of lions had saved a man's life. Ideal and the lions became legend. This story stands as a moving tribute to the inexplicable and profound connections that can exist between humans and the wild. Ideal had saved them, and when his time of need came, they remembered. They repaid him. It reminds us that every living creature, whether man or beast, is woven into the same delicate tapestry of life. And sometimes, when we least expect it, that bond reveals itself in the most powerful ways. So the next time you look into the eyes of a lion, perhaps you'll see more than wildness. Perhaps you'll glimpse loyalty, memory, and grace. This, dear viewers, is not just a story. It's a hymn to life, to courage, and above all to the sacred bond between humankind and the natural world. A bond we must cherish and protect with all our hearts.